I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We welcome the Lemonborn. Hi,
Hello.
and how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good.
I appreciate that. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am the real Lemonborn, or just the Lemonborn, or sometimes just Lemon. I have a variety of names. I wear a variety of hats because, well, I have quite the varied amount of interests, like all over. It's a little hard to describe exactly what I do, but I'd say what I do best is just, having a good time, being myself on stream, playing a variety of games.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, as you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
That's the best part of it, and everything else is kind of gravy. If you're enjoying yourself and not putting a little lot of pressure on yourself, in enjoying being able to kind of entertain people. Did you always want to do something like that?
No, actually. So, where to start with this topic of what I wanted to do? So, I'd say back in school, I was studying really hard to sort of pursue something I wasn't all that interested in. And I didn't realize I didn't have an interest in it until college. So
Perfect timing.
for about
Yeah.
first 20 some odd years,
Yeah.
I just spent time trying to become a mechanical engineer of some kind,
Yeah.
Like I have an associate's degree in mathematics and physics at this point.
Cool.
But both of those were just like, I can do the math, I can do the physics, but I wasn't interested in it, and my heart wasn't ever in it.
Right.
So that was a whole thing. And then I realized I love video games. I love telling a story with visuals and like action and like letting someone else like make their own story. That was my thing for a while, was just playing video games to relax and sort of de-stress. And so after realizing I didn't want to become an engineer, I pivoted and went into studying game design with a focus on storytelling.
Yeah, that's a bit of a pivot, all right.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to do what your heart calls you to do, and
exactly.
And it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have if you don't care about it. It's just,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like memorizing every baseball lineup since the 1960s, and then later on you're like, why did I waste my time with all that? Not that I'm doing that right now. But it kind of called you toward doing video game. Are you actively involved in it right now?
I am, actually.
Oh.
I had been a bit dormant because I then also dropped out of my university where I was studying game design to not originally start the VTubing, but to like find my passion again. So I was depressed for like a good month or two after that.
Ouch.
And then I got into VTubing and content creation. And now I'm starting to get back into the game design stuff. I had to find my footing after like losing it all, like 20 years of progress. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because you get this amount of progress in one thing doesn't mean you start there with another mountain.
Yeah.
You don't get to just parallel walk over to the other mountain and go from there. You got to start from the bottom again. Did any of your previous experience and teachings help when you moved over to the video game side?
Yes, actually. For a long time, I had like a minimal interest in sort of coding
Hmm.
and like making graphics and models for games,
Right.
that mostly came from my best friend who liked making mods for Terraria.
No, okay. Yeah.
Um, that he did that probably ooh, 8 or 9 years ago. Uh, so that has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
The other thing that always stuck with me is I love to build something.
Mm,
Um, and I recently found that I love building a world, but I'm
yeah.
bad at telling the story. And after going to university to properly study game design, I realized I just have to smash the two together.
Yes.
Like, if I can build the world and give the players some kind of mechanic to explore the world, they can just create the story themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't have to think about it too hard.
Yeah. You have a beginning and either one or many ends, and they'll find
Yes,
their way
yeah.
from one to the other. Um, kind of hitting two rocks together really hard and hoping something happens. But here you've got a design, you've got an idea of where the game wants to go when you start. So um, there's that involved too. I
Hmm.
When I was in high school, we were one of the first classes in our area that had the computers, and we had a computer class which was Apple IIe's. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I'm old. um, but then when I got my first job, the first computer I bought was a Commodore 64,
ah,
which had the same basic language as the Apple IIe.
hmm,
So I programmed the crap out of that thing. I
yeah,
All basic though. I mean, it wasn't no graphics, and it wasn't that much graphics anyway to mess with.
hmm,
Um, it was so much fun. I would just stay up and just work on constantly. I had one game that printed out on a dot matrix was about 3/4 of an inch deep. Um, I used I
wow.
used yeah, I used every possible random number. You can only use so many. They in the
That's
Commodore.
true. Yeah.
I used so much data on the end of it, and and it went pretty well. It was actually a pro wrestling text game,
Oh.
and it would find two wrestlers. You put two wrestlers in, and it would have a match, and it would kind of
Mhm.
describe it as if the announcer was describing the match. And there were different, each wrestler had their own different skills and such. And now
That's really cool.
it was. I thought it was, and I even added a tag team option. So there was,
Oh.
yeah, so it worked pretty good. But the problem was back then, and I don't know if you have this now with computer programs, because I don't. You might as well be, you know, talking Greek underwater as far as that what it looks like to me now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. But the Commodore only had so many random numbers.
Mhm.
The random numbers weren't exactly random.
Yeah.
So you get into that there were so many random numbers involved in this game because there's chance involved.
Hmm.
That I would run. Ideally, you could run two wrestlers against each other, and you come up with different outcomes. But you usually did the same one with the same time, even on them, and it was just like, um, it was good for one time around, but I couldn't figure out how to
Yeah.
change it up. But
Yeah. Randomness has always been a huge issue in games.
yeah, yeah, and it's it in we're talking Commodore 64. I mean, for the time
Yeah.
it was the Cadillac, but
Yeah, that's true.
now your watch has 20 times more capability than the Commodore at least. But it was a lot of fun. So I can imagine if you know what you're doing these days, you can be really creative with it.
Hmm.
Mm. Is do times you kind of play with what you're doing and come up with ideas on the fly when you're doing the creativity?
Yes, that's like the number one way that I function as a creative person is just like I want XYZ and ABC, but they don't fit together in the
Mm,
same world. Like, I'll come up with, ooh, I could have a cool like gun sword
mm,
that works like this and this, and like then I'll want to put it into like a fantasy setting,
mm-hmm.
but gun swords and like classical D&D type fantasy don't fit together great.
Right.
So then, because I've had these two ideas I really like, that's when my brain engages and starts working out all the nitty-gritty details.
Ah, so the end game comes first, and now you figure out the path to get. You kind of work backwards
Yeah,
almost from it.
yeah. From what I know, it's a bit of a different writing process than a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people use,
Mm-hmm.
especially compared it to my best friend again, who
Yeah.
also likes to write.
Yeah.
I don't do like continuous events. I sort of like have an idea for something using the characters that I've made
Right.
and just like stamp it down and then move on and then stamp down another idea, and like they're not ever connected, but they affect each other
Yeah.
because they're like the bigger events.
Ah.
So,
No, that's it. That is a different way to do it. I mean, some people will do something like that and have a one of those diagrams. If then what?
mhm,
The I forget what they're called, but they're efficient and very irritating sometimes. Um,
yes.
but they would have that all written down and put it up on the wall. But you kind of seem to go out on the fly. Do you think that is better creativity for you than possibly the other way?
I think both ways have like their own strengths.
Hmm.
For me personally, doing it sort of on the fly helps keep me grounded in like the activity I'm doing.
Hmm.
Because I grew up as the like quote unquote gifted kid in school. I didn't
Yeah.
have to try much. I didn't have to study really. I just soaked up information like a sponge.
Hmm.
That means now that I've grown up, I'm just terrible at staying focused on one task if it like starts getting hard at all.
Yeah.
So bouncing between the different key events actually really helps me sort of flesh out a world and like create characters to fill that world,
Yeah.
because my brain isn't trying to just say here's this character and like 10 years of their story. It's just saying here's this character, they did this thing at some point in the future,
Hmm.
and then I just move on.
Well, you
So,
told what that about being in school. It um when I first started in the kindergarten was like second half of 1969, so it tells you how really old I am. Um, and I could read a little going into, and
huh?
at that point, when you could read going into kindergarten, which was only a half a day, by the way, at the time,
Hmm.
they thought you were a genius. So
Ah,
I spent a lot of kindergarten in a room being tested. not
mm,
not a whole lot of interaction with the kids.
yeah.
Like, I mean, and I got my ego built up where I thought that I knew what I was doing and was just a terrible student until high school when I realized that I'm not going to finish in the top 25% if I don't put it into gear here. And
Mhm.
I haven't stopped asking questions since because I realized I didn't know it all. And went from there. It sometimes getting that label early on isn't the best.
Yeah, no, it's
It later on you kind of pay for it.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this way it's kind of helped you realize what makes you tick as a person, as a
Yeah.
creative person. So it's really helped you out quite a bit. Um,
Hmm.
and now, are you working on a specific project or a
I
concept?
was waiting for that question.
Yes.
I am starting a specific project. It's actually starting on Monday.
Ooh,
I plan to spend all of June making a whole video game.
cool.
So yeah,
Now, I'm not going to ask the details, but because
I,
we're gonna save it for the end. It sounds like you're chomping at the bit to let people know, but people got to see when it comes
uh,
out.
it may sound like that, but I don't actually have any details yet. I'm just excited for it.
Yeah, well, I would be too. I would be to do something that you've wanted to do for a long time and have the time and ability to do it. It all comes together. It's just like a kid in a candy store with
Mhm.
dad's credit card. Get what you want,
Yeah.
and a lot of it. The Once you get this put together, what are your plans, or do you have any plans once you have it put together?
Uh, just put it out on like itch.io for like $5 or something.
Mm.
Yeah.
See if folks like it, would you? And maybe
Yeah.
then you can do the add modules thing. You want more? It's
Oh,
$30.
yeah. Um, no, I'm thinking this will be a standalone that I
Mm,
just like one and done, release it for like $5,
yeah.
and then I'll use that money to put it towards the next game
Mm,
and also like other stuff that I need to pay for.
bills is good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
paying at least one bill is usually a good idea.
Mhm.
Um, I learned that late in life too. um, the the idea that you're going to be able to kind of create that as a machine, almost a process. Does that put any extra pressure on yourself to get something done in a certain amount of time so you can hit the next goal?
Uh, I kind of thought it would, but I sort of tested the waters back in February
Mm-hmm.
when I participated in a VTuber game jam,
Mm-hmm.
and we only had 1 week to put out something. And I put out a really sort of small, how to describe it? Like sort of like a murder mystery
Ah,
experience.
okay.
Not really a game so much. It was just you wander around and look for clues and talk to people.
Was it mostly
But it
text?
was
Was it mostly text, or was there a lot of graphic?
always a lot of graphics.
Mm.
It's I built the whole thing inside of a new game engine I'd never touched before, alongside doing pixel art myself, which I'd also never done before. And um I only had a week to do it. So
And you had one hand and two other fingers tied behind your back, and you were most of the time you were handcuffed underwater. Could you have made it any tougher on yourself? That's really impressive. I mean, to be able to do that sort of thing and
yeah,
and
it really impressed me,
yeah,
like personally. I
yeah,
didn't know I could do that until I did it.
yeah.
So that's why I'm gonna take it a little slower, not quite as much pressure for
Mm-hmm.
this next one,
Mm-hmm.
because I want it to be good. I
Mm-hmm.
want to have fun doing it, and I want it to be good.
Yeah, really want to be good
Yeah,
and kind of be kind of at the very least a gateway to a lot of other things you want to do, I imagine.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you Are you that confident to do something, jump into something that you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out and just
No.
no. Well, I mean, you could have fooled me with what you just told me. Uh, so
Well, like part of it just comes from I have bad decision making skills. Uh,
that's great. My terrible decision making skills put me in situations where I have to do something,
yeah.
and that's a real good take on the necessity being the mother of invention.
Mhm.
If I throw myself in the deep water, I better learn to swim. But it works. It works, and it's worked for you so far, and I can't imagine it not working for you in the future. Um, does being successful at something like that improve your confidence?
Yes.
Hmm, that's good. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and you kind of get a character building arc as you're doing it as well
Yeah,
for
that
yourself.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
The bigger part I'd say is that it's finally something that I want to do.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, there's such a big difference in that. And it doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world that you're doing either. It's just, I wanted to do this type of artwork, but I've never had the time. Now I could do it. Here it is. I'm happy.
mhm.
Um, it doesn't mean like, I want to mow all the lawns in the neighborhood in one day. That's not only dumb, but um, pay somebody else to do it. Don't do it yourself. And at this age, I'm not doing it. Um,
Mhm.
but that then you get that sense of accomplishment that you did what you wanted to do, um, and maybe get to use that to step up to the next level. Um, it
Yeah.
Yeah. So where is do you have an end game? I mean, do you look at the your pie in the sky and say, I want to be a game developer for the masses, that type of thing?
Not really. I've thought about this a couple times since I dropped out of university,
Yeah.
but like I don't have a particular goal,
Mm,
like an end goal when it
right.
comes to making games, because that in itself really is like the thing I'm doing
Mm,
is I want to make a game that people enjoy.
right.
Um, when it comes to like the games I want to make, there is a very specific one that I want to be sort of my magnum opus.
Mm.
Um, so that one's been on the back burner for a while.
It's
Yeah.
sitting there waiting to emerge. Um,
Hmm.
is it is it just is it just such a big concept that you haven't started working on it yet, or are the things that you need to have done before you can do what you want to do with it?
It's mostly that there are just skills I need
Mm,
and like optimization sort of techniques that I just don't have at the moment.
yeah,
There's just things I still need to learn, things I need to improve, and a little bit of planning still.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah. I'm not very good at that.
yes.
And and a lot of people aren't because I see that at work all the time. But it sounds to me like you can really focus on these things when you're ready to do it. Um,
Mhm.
has that been something you could rely on, or is it something that's just come up recently for you?
A bit of both. My passion for a long time while I was studying to become an engineer, even
Mm.
though I had like zero heart in that,
Yes.
my passion came from playing video games and
Mm.
like building stuff.
Yeah.
And I started to notice that when I play video games, like something I was genuinely interested in,
Mm-hmm.
my focus like totally narrows
Mm.
so that I only see the video game. And sometimes I'd sit there and I'd game for like a day. Um,
Yeah, it happens.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I do that with the old Commodore, and what the hard drive or the disk drive, I
Hmm.
should say, floppy disk drive, would warm up to the point where the pixels on the screen looked different than they were supposed to. I'm like, okay, and then you touch the top of it and you fry an egg on it.
Hmm.
And you go, oh, maybe 12 hours isn't good to run this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand that. They're just getting so much involved in it. Now, with that, you've been able to, or have you been able to take that type of focus and point it towards developing the game?
Not yet.
Mm,
That's sort of what this sort of experiment for June is going to be about.
hmm.
I want to transition from just passively playing games and streaming to actively focusing on something that I want, in which case is making a game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I expect you'll have it done, but I have to ask you, will you be an artist about it and never actually have it finished in your mind?
that's exactly what I'm worried about happening, because I have been that artist brain before for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I really need to get out of that habit because it's preventing me from just sitting there and doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just and in talking to so many folks who are artists in different fields, there's always it's a 99.10% of it is they always have one thing that they I could do better with that, and they will go back and keep nudging and nudging and nudging and nudging. Like, no, sit down, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I could rent myself out as that guy. I go around for $5. I'll tell you when you're done. Make everybody mad at me. But that would be, in a programming way, that would lead you to never releasing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's sooner or later it's playable and it's enjoyable, and you've got to get it out to the public. Otherwise, you're going to be tweaking and tweaking and tweaking for the rest of your life. That do you think that is something you're going to have to work to avoid?
Yes. Yeah, that frankly, back in like 2020 during the pandemic, I started writing with my best friend, like more serious than just coming up with stories as kids.
Right.
And this exact same artist problem was plaguing me the entire time. I would write out like a chapter or two, then I'd reread it and think, no, that's not good enough. And then I'd just rewrite the entire thing and never get anywhere. So
it's one heck of an introduction. The prologue is perfect. It's but I can imagine that. It's. I used to get caught in that every once in a while doing a commercial in radio where I'm like, I can just hear a little bit of grate in my voice if I do that. I need to mix it just a little bit better. And finally, I was just like, you know what? It's running one time on a Sunday morning, and it's free. I've done good. Hand it in. Otherwise you're just never going to get done with things, and you can't move on to do the bigger things you want to do later. And then really pour everything out into it. So when did you get started with the online content creating as opposed to, working on it by yourself? I mean, it's a much different thing having people watch what you're doing.
That is true. Yeah. I originally started like dreaming about it when I was just a little kid watching YouTube on my phone, or not my phone, my brother's phone, And when I grew up, I realized there's a lot more thought I would need to put into it. And entering college, I started seriously putting in like the thought and then planning it. And then all that, I just threw it all out the window. Last year in like November, when I was just like, I have enough. And so I started recording video game footage of me playing through Super Mario World on my SNES.
Yeah.
Awesome game. I had so much fun doing that. And then I was just like suddenly just in the deep end. My bad decision making striking once again. Because I had no editing skills, no like pacing skills, no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So after November last year, I hard pivoted into streaming on Twitch because I realized I don't have to edit. I don't have to worry about the pacing.
Yes.
They'll just watch.
Now, I mean, you don't have a safety net.
It happens in real time.
You don't have a safety net, but sometimes people work better that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think I kind of worked a little better that way.
mhm.
Um, at least back in when I was starting in December. Uh, it
Since
still feels weird to think about how it's only been like half a year since I started.
yeah, yeah. But I
Um,
mean, you got to be pretty pleased with where you're at now, as opposed to that. I mean, you came in as I mean, did you have any goals for yourself as far as total people watching or anything like that?
be famous, I guess. Like, uh, I guess I had the goal of like meeting cool people
Yeah,
because I watch a lot of creators, just on YouTube and occasionally on Twitch,
right.
and they're all just cool people. The
Hmm.
kind of people I would want to hang out with as like a friend in real life.
Hmm. Yeah, it's you see one of the reasons we talked a little bit before we start on about why I'm doing this stuff is because there are so many people, wide
Hmm.
variety from everywhere, and backgrounds and likes and dislikes and that sort of thing. And the variety speaks for itself. It just
Yeah.
if you a person with any type of curiosity at all, this is a good place for you.
Hmm.
And if you're a complete knife and didn't even don't know what's going on, um, turn on VTubers and find out. You'll get an experience in one night. I'll tell you that. It
That's
make
true.
so once you got on there and turned the microphone on, what? How did you feel once you realized that you were basically on stage?
I never really felt like I was on stage.
Mm,
Um, for me, that's part of the beauty of doing VTubing specifically, having that virtual avatar,
mm-hmm.
is I'm a very introverted person in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I have like the constant anxiety in the back of my head that people are judging me, like they're judging the way I look, the way
Mm-hmm.
I say things, the way I'm moving, what my gestures are.
Right.
So I was never comfortable standing on a stage in real life.
Right.
And when am doing my streaming stuff, it doesn't feel like I'm on a stage. It feels more like I'm sitting on the couch playing a game with friends.
Mm. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good because that kind of sets the tone for your chat when folks are in there, and that would
Yeah.
be a very plus your voice is perfect. Is really good for this. I mean, it's not um, overly aggressive. Um, it gets the point across. It doesn't sound like you have to use a lot of effort to say things, and it doesn't have a whole lot of sharp points, which is perfect for someone sitting down and listening and being with on stream with you for a long time.
Yeah, I have actually gotten similar sort of praise for the way my voice comes through on
Hmm.
the mic,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't understand it. Like, it's just a physical, like, I hear my voice in the recording and almost like throw up. Like, I just don't like the way I sound to
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
But if it works, it works, you know?
Well, that's part of the thing with it. You don't have to have the greatest voice in the world, but the personality also goes with it. And have you gotten to the point where you've realized that people who are coming back for you and not necessarily for what you're doing?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a couple chatters who come back and annoy me.
Yeah, but they come back is the big thing because
Hmm.
they're enjoying you doing your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and does that how does that make you feel? Does it buff you up a little bit pride wise, or does it scare the heck out of you?
I think it is a good safety net for me personally.
Mm.
Uh, I'm sort of like my mom. We both really like seeing like numbers and metrics on what's doing well, what's not doing well.
Yes.
So just getting bombarded by all of that as soon as I started at first was a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Um, and even more so after I hit Twitch affiliate back in January, I think.
Hmm.
Um, I started losing that sort of personal touch and
Ah.
looking more at the numbers side of things,
Yeah.
which I'm very glad it happened early because as the viewership dipped again, I realized, hey, why am I looking at the numbers? I have the chatters.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You
um,
have to
yeah,
concentrate on the audience that you have, and
yeah,
cultivating that as you go. And um, it's a it you have to find when you're not used to being on stage or in front of people or even having a microphone in front of you, and you don't have the training for it. You have to
hmm
find your own way to do it. And
hmm
sometimes people just have that natural it. Um, I've talked to people, that I've met in person, and you just like, okay, that person could talk to everybody in this room and have a perfect conversation with them, and not have to worry about anything. And I've talked with people who,
hmm
if I have to be very careful because I imagine they'll shatter into a million pieces if I talk too loud, uh, or I will, one way or another. So it's all a different way. Has it become comfortable for you now?
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
well, that's good. Now you're doing things you enjoy in a comfortable setting with people who enjoy annoying you. How can it get any better than
Yes.
that? Maybe more maybe more money coming in.
Yeah, money, please. I
Yeah,
like money.
money is good. Um, the when you're now with this all this background and you see a game and you start playing it, does your interest and skills as a game developer, does that weigh into whether or not you enjoy a game or not as a consumer?
Not particularly.
Mm.
And I think that has to do with how long I've been playing games, which, I pretty much since before I could speak, I've been playing video games at this point. Like,
All you young
that's just
people
been an integral part of my life.
now, kids come with
And
iPods coming right out of the mom.
yeah, yeah. So I just like get lost in the experience of the game, and the game dev side takes a bit of a backseat. But
Mm-hmm.
whenever I sit down and like think about it from a game dev perspective, I can. It's almost like having an out of body experience,
Mm,
but for like the game and like what I'm doing.
okay.
Where like I'm still playing the game just fine, but I'm seeing all these little details of like that seems a little unbalanced. That looks like it could be, moved a little bit, or the
Right.
difficulty could be adjusted.
Right. Right. But
So
it doesn't play into get so bad where you'll just rage quit a game because it's just not up to your standards programming wise.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's good. But at the same time, and I don't think I've even asked this before to anybody, does your game developing skills make it easier for you to predict what's coming next in a game?
I am not sure, to be honest.
Mm,
And that is again because I've been playing so many games for, all of my life.
right.
It's a skill to know what's coming next. You can read the cues in the level
Right.
to understand the developer's intent.
Right.
They call it like the yellow line or like yellow taping when you're really just railroading someone and pointing at it like, go here, go here.
All the flashing
Um,
lights and you narrow it. A lot of these, some of these games that are story driven, visual novel type games.
mhm,
I tend to see when people are playing them that they funnel you to one end, and pretty much
exactly.
no matter how you go, you're going to end up at that one end.
Yeah, it's a very good trick for game developers to use these subtle cues and
Mhm.
like sometimes very like in your face go here type things,
Right.
because it opens up the space for everyone to enjoy the game, which is great.
Mm.
But when you're an experienced like game player like me
Yeah.
or some of my friends, you don't need the yellow tape to just see where the game is going, which
Yeah.
I think is something we're missing more of nowadays in gaming,
Yeah.
is that like lack of hand holding, so to speak.
The subtlety of
Yeah,
it.
subtlety.
Yeah, where you have to, concentrate and figure out what you if you're playing a game that it does kind of funnel you to one ending, is that frustrating for you? Because I imagine that really takes the replayability out of a lot of games.
I mean, in some situations, yeah, it can. Like if you're playing a story game or like a puzzle game, that takes out some of the replayability. But if it's just like this is the mechanic you need to get through this area and you just haven't found it yet, sort of like in maybe a Metroidvania, where it's like obvious you're missing the skill, and sometimes they'll even hint at what the skill could be by just showing you the obstacle that doesn't break with any of your current tricks. Like that feels nice when they can give you those little hints to guide you towards the solution and make it feel natural. That is excellent. There's a couple things wrong with that approach, though, I'd say, because not everyone gets the cues.
Right.
I actually had this mishap like a couple days ago, where there's a mechanic in the game where if you walk up to any circular, like window-looking thing, and then walk backwards from it, you will be in a new area. You'll like pass through a wall, or like there'll be something different about the geometry.
Okay.
It was a very trippy sort of puzzle adventure game.
Yeah.
And that entire mechanic flew right over my head until like 6 hours into the game. I realized that that's what I needed to do to beat the game.
Yes. It's very tough to do that. I one of my favorite series on the old Commodore and even into the regular PCs was the Might and Magic series. Not the Heroes of Might and Magic, the actual Might and Magic series. And the first one was almost completely text based, and you had a picture of them. It was very D&D like. It took me forever to beat that game because we didn't have the online internet stuff, but we could go and find the answers to. I actually had to go out and buy a thing of graph paper, and I graphed every bit of that game. And with notes, this is where this happens, this is where this happens, and finally found how to win the game. And it took, my characters were so overpowered by the time we got there. It didn't even take 15 seconds for the final battle. Oh, you're level 700. You'll probably win this one pretty quick. Magic missile. It's dead. But it was quite, because there were, and then I found out there was a book you could have gotten, but if it doesn't build in those clues well, you could have the greatest game in the world and no one can follow it. But then if you have a game that's too obvious and people finish it quickly, then they don't want to replay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. There's a tightrope for you to walk, game developer person.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, when you are putting something together like that, do you look to put a game together according to your standards, what you would enjoy, or are you looking for somebody else's enjoyment?
There's a couple things that I do. There's, for one, the sort of general populace enjoyment with smaller titles, like the one I'm going to make for June.
Right.
But then for something like my magnum opus project that I mentioned earlier, that is absolutely going to be fully just my standards. A game meant for me and probably no one else, because it's going to be ridiculously hard. Yeah.
It'll be called Game for Me, or subtitled Go Away.
Yeah.
That I mean, as far as what you're playing online,
Mhm.
what types of games do you enjoy streaming? Because it could be different than your casual games. Um,
That's true.
what is
Um,
what best for you online? What type?
I usually play solo, like single player games, just in general.
Mhm.
I've never been much of a like competitive gamer in the sense.
Yeah.
So I play, slower titles or like a walking simulator
Uh,
or like a visual novel type game, which I haven't actually done yet. I plan to do it at some point.
mm,
And I go through these things almost fully blind most of the time because for me, what I like streaming about games is not the repeated satisfaction I get when I play them casually,
right.
but that new first fresh eye like appeal to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I get
yeah.
that when watching some VTubers sometimes. If they're playing like I'll say just Fallout New Vegas, I'll usually
Mhm.
watch some of it. I love that game. I played it a lot. Till my computer decided it didn't want to do things anymore. Um, I played it a lot. I cheated in it. I did everything I could with it. Um, and to watch somebody else play it for the first time, even though I know what would happen, it's still enjoyable to me to
Yeah.
to see their reactions to it because I know what mine was. Usually screaming
Mhm.
and running away as fast as I could. Um, the death claws are not something to be trifled with.
Yes, that is
Um,
true.
in any of the Fallout series, actually, and it's just fun for me to watch that sort of thing. For you as someone, do you watch a whole lot of VTubers, or has that gone past the wayside now that you've become one?
I don't watch a ton of VTubers.
Mm.
Back before I became like content creation like was my thing,
Mm-hmm.
when I was still in, college, that was when I watched a couple VTubers,
Mm-hmm.
specifically some of my inspirations for even knowing about VTubing in the first place.
Yeah, like who?
The one that I always point to is Bao the Whale.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
I had seen Bao the Whale as a VTuber pretty early on
Mm-hmm.
and not thought much about it. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
But it's like, it's someone's form of just being on camera without being on camera. I didn't
right,
think much of it at the time.
right.
Then what really brought me in and inspired me was watching how Bao changed over the years
Mm-hmm.
to become pretty much who she is now.
Right, right.
Just like that slow change from like kind of timid and shy to fully just being herself.
The
Um,
timid and shy isn't there anymore.
no, no, not anymore.
But
Uh,
I personally think that they're pretty underrated as far as talent goes.
mhm.
They kind of shove them into a box, and there's a lot they can do, and you gotta hear them singing for one thing, right? And
Yeah.
then you go from there. Realize that they write their own songs and
Mhm.
do it is even more. And that brings me to this: being able to not just you know program and do these sort of things, but being able to share it with people. I know you said that you were kind of an introvert, but
Mhm.
being able to show other people in this way, is that fulfilling for you?
Yes.
Mhm.
It frankly has been the most fulfilling thing I've done in a very long time.
Mm, yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Is it does it have is it a wind beneath your wings moment, or is it
Oh
a
yeah.
justifying moment, or is it all of that stuff?
It's like every good thing you could associate with it. It's like all of those. Um, I got a really cold like splash of reality last month
Mhm.
and could only stream like 7 times.
Yeah.
Not 7 times, like 4 times the
Oh,
whole month.
yeah.
And when I wasn't streaming, I was thinking, man, I would love to stream right now.
It's become a part of you.
I know.
The virus has
Yeah.
infected. But it's good to hear people still enjoying this after a certain period of time, because I can see people going in like a firework and burning out very quickly
Mhm.
from their own. Have you
Yeah.
gotten to the point with with your work schedule and this where you are not burning out so much?
Yes. That was a large part of most of my 2026 so far, was finding that proper work-life balance to
Mm,
not burn out again.
mm,
Because I burned out on school. I was really burned out trying to become an engineer and just didn't realize it until it was way too late.
mhm.
And now that I know what it feels like, uh, I'm doing my best to avoid that feeling.
Well, I think you're
um,
doing a pretty dang good job with it. I mean, obviously, you're at this point now where some of the things you've wanted to do for a long time are well within your reach,
mhm,
and all of that stuff wouldn't necessarily have been there without you taking the leap before you knew there was a lily pad there. uh,
yeah.
and that takes some courage in itself. And I think that somewhere, well, you say that you're not exactly an outgoing person, but yeah, I think you've shown to me and the folks that are listening to this interview that somewhere down there is a more of a daredevil person who wants to go and find these new things and explore and conquer them.
Mhm.
Yeah, just don't let them get too much to the surface, because
Yes.
then
No.
you'll end up Duke boying your vehicles in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
You don't do that sort of thing.
No.
That's the
No. I let it out, and it ends up bringing me back. A stack of vinyls and a record player.
ooh,
Or like
vinyls.
a
I
couple $1,000s worth of collectible figurines,
oh
or
man, how
a keyboard that I haven't used in years.
oh man, I really wish I had my record player still going, because I have so many. I have 2 boxes of albums that I can't get to.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
from the '80s, because I spent all my paycheck on those.
Mhm.
At the record swap, used records was the ideal thing.
Yeah.
And just load it up on that. But I'm glad that I got a chance to talk to you about this, because I think that you're an inspiring person, whether you want to be or not, whether you realize it, because you started off down one path, realized a little late in that path, you don't want to do it, and you went ahead and jumped to another path and stuck with it. A
Mhm.
lot of people wouldn't have done that, and they'd be where you at your age now and be miserable. Um,
Yes.
the fact that you went out and did that again, there's that takes a lot of rocks to do
Mhm.
at that point. After all you invested in one thing to do, and not only to do that, but enjoy while you're doing it. That's pretty amazing. That's says a lot about you as a person.
Yeah. It was hard for a while, to be honest.
Yeah, but
It it kind of reinforced in my head that thing you hear where it's never too late to try something new.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
When you're my age, it's more like it's never too late to keep sleeping. You can
Oh,
always get a few more minutes before going to work.
yeah. God, I love sleeping.
Yes,
I sleep in so much.
I recommend sleeping. It's a good hobby.
Mhm.
But I recommend finding out what the Lemon Born is all about. We're going to have the links in the description for this video. And I just thank you so much for coming on, and congratulate you for making that choice and sticking with it and finding something that you are comfortable in. A lot of people can't
Yeah.
say they do that, but you can, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.